Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. This is episode 1 of the Shadow Depths Season 2. Really wanted to get this one out there about a week ago. Unfortunately, being sick, I didn't really have the energy or the voice, I should say, also to go ahead and record it. So this is a little bit later than I had hoped. So I do apologize, but wanted to go ahead and get this out there on a weekly basis as far as just an update on how things are going for me, some tips that I learned as I'm going through the process. I am not perfect. This is only my second season. First season I started super late. So I highly encourage, if you're watching these videos, go ahead down in the comments below if you have any additional tips. If you're an expert, you're killing it on the leaderboards, you're in the top 10, top 50, and you have some tips that you want to give to the community, please either DM me. I'm happy to go ahead and say that if you want to say them anonymously, or you can go ahead and put them in the comments down below and we'll go ahead and share it with the community. That's what we're trying to do. Everybody's trying to get a little bit better. If you have some, I'll share them as I get them. You share them, it'd be really appreciated. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in there. Just give you a quick update on how I'm doing as far as Shadow Depths go. I'm actually in the middle of a mission right now. I only ran a one mission. We'll talk about that here in a second. But as far as my progress goes, I have full epic gear. We'll talk about progress, then I'll give you some of the tips that I had for the early stages going on. So I am in full epic gear, just moving ahead to the legendary gear now, or focusing on that. I did a number of the tasks, so I am progressing pretty far. At least I think I am. As far as the task goes, I believe personally that the tasks are better this year. They're not as grindy as some of the tasks that we had last year. Having said that, there's also some tasks in here that are a bit of a challenge, that you need a full, NFT Battle Miners portfolio in order to kind of really play to it. So it does make it a little bit more challenging. The ones that I'm referring to there, for example, I don't have any right now. There's ones where you need to print equipment. And then you need, in order to print that equipment, you have to have the NFTs in order to do that. So you do need some additional items or NFTs in order to be able to go ahead with those tasks. The commons they're cheap enough. They do drop the pilot packs that help you with that. They just actually did one yesterday. By the time you're watching this, it was a few days ago. But once you start getting into the rare and the epics, they do get more expensive. So it is a little bit more of a challenge. Not the biggest fan of that one, but it is what it is. I understand why they're doing it. Another one that was a challenge that I actually just finished this morning was the 200 mission one. Basically, if you go here, you can see I actually just completed one. If you go in here and you go to this, I'm talking about this one. You basically run 200 levels in one shot, which is a challenge, which I'm actually going to give a few tips for that today. Things that help me get through the process. So we'll go ahead and talk about that here in a few seconds. Before I do that, let me talk about my progress in the missions now that mission completed. I just made it this morning to the next one, the Hollow Mines. Just made that this morning, which is a big help as far as the coin or the token production. Plus, I'm able to get some of the materials that I need in order to go ahead and start crafting the legendary equipment and some additional items in the ship. So this was a big step. And what helped me get to that was the 200 mission task that was there. So that's where I've progressed there. My ship, I'm working hard on that one. I've gotten a few to the max. For example, the chem set I have to the max. These got a few more levels to go. I just kicked off my market one because that's another task that you have there. So I just kicked that off there at 5 hours to go with that one. Teleport's got no more updates. So I am trying to stay on top of this. The ship was something that I ignored for a long time last season, and I think it kind of bit me near the end of it. So I'm trying to focus on that, trying to focus on just about everything, which is a challenge. As I mentioned, the tasks, there's a lot of different things you can focus on this game. You can really focus on building out your ship. You can focus on getting the tasks, which will give you the rewards in the season battle. Basically, these rewards throughout the season, just to show you where I'm at here. I just finished the 73 this morning. So I'm moving forward on that. And then the other thing you can really focus on is just leaderboards, getting as far in the missions as possible and getting as many tokens as possible. The challenge that you have is balancing the three and trying to progress as much as you can in the one without really neglecting the others. So right now I am 147th ranked. I think I slipped a little bit than I wanted to because of being sick last week. I didn't really get to play as much as I wanted to. But I'm progressing. I'm doing well, I think. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are in my community challenge that are beating me right now, but I'm determined to climb this list and beat you all. Go ahead in the comments down below. Let me know how you're doing on the leaderboard. What rank are you as of the time of the recording? Again, I'm recording this on Friday, but you're probably watching this on Sunday or Monday. So mine may have fluctuated by the time you're watching this. But let me know how you're doing. I really like to hear how everybody's doing throughout this process. So that's my progress as of right now. Like I said, I'm going to try and do this a very quick run through of how I'm doing so far. Another thing I want to let you know is they have the new skill tree out there. Last time it was just you're just putting points into skills. They now have the new skill tree here. I have been focusing on the evasion skill tree. Got all the way down to the bottom of that. I feel like that helped me a lot last season. Was really in my defense. I know there's a lot of people that are focusing on the speed, and it's really helping them with the leaderboards and getting through the missions. So I'm not sure I went down the right tree. So also let me know down in the comments below, which skill tree did you go down, and are you happy with it? Are you seeing the results that you want to? I think next season I may try the speed, or once I finish up the evasion tree, I may start going down the speed side of it. So let me know what you're actually doing, and I'll continue to let you know next week as we provide another update. All right, some of the tips that I have personally. A couple things. When you first go ahead and kick off the season, this is beginner, brand new out of the box, just kicked off, just launched. What you need to focus on is getting through the first few of these. Get through the first few of the mission areas, from hot mines all the way down to underwater mines, because you want to get to the point where you're actually able to craft rare gear. And then you also want to start getting some decent token income from these missions to help you move up the leaderboards. So the quicker you can move down here, the quicker you can level up, the better. I know it's probably an obvious statement, but it's you'd be surprised. So that's my first tip. I know that's a little bit of a generic tip. The next tip I want to talk about is mostly focused around that 200 mission, because that 200 mission task is something that can really stop a lot of new players if they're not sure what they're looking for. What I did, a few tips from what I did, was I actually did it here on the this mine here, because you can go 250. So you can go ahead, if you make it through, you get a big chunk of this area done. So focused on that. If this is too challenging for you, you can go ahead and do it on the, where is it? Right here. You can go ahead and do it on the deep mines, start on one, work all the way down to 200. So that's tip number one. Try and use one of the ones that have at least 200 levels. If you can go ahead and do it on this one, more power to you. You get better results from it. But if you can't do that one, do it on the deep mine. That's tip number one. Tip number two, as far as the equipment that you're going to use, at least the equipment that I used, you're going to have to save up a little bit here. I started off with 200 of the stealth mode and 200 repair kits, the makeshift repair kits. I think with just those 200, and you have to remember halfway through to go ahead and add the extra 100 in there. So there is a little bit of maintenance there. I was able to make it through the process without having any of my equipment just getting destroyed, and just being able to go through there quick enough. So that's the two equipment that I think are required on, especially a lower level character. Some of the other things that I had on there, I think I started out with 60 of the counterattacks and 70 of the precision. I ended up going through the first number of missions without using any of those, with just using the stealth mode and the repair kits. And then when I got to, say, mission 40, 50 in that range, I started going ahead and putting the counter in there. And then at the end for the last 70, I did the precision in there. Those just help speed up the process. You were killing a lot faster. You weren't dying as much, especially as the missions got more and more challenging. They were helpful. They were really helpful as far as getting you through those missions with the minimum amount of deaths as possible. So that's the equipment that I would use. I did it with all epics. You don't need legendaries to do it. At least I didn't. I was level 23 when I started it. So take that into account. I think I ended up getting 4 levels from it, which was great by running it. So that's tip number 2. And the last part of the tips I would mention in here is how you run it within the settings. Make sure you uncheck the backpack and make sure that you uncheck the die or exit after 3 deaths. I tried it once and I forgot to uncheck this one. Died at I think I was with 100 into it out of the 200. Died 3 times and it kicked me out and I had to restart it. It takes 16 to 20 hours to run this depending on how many deaths you have. So you don't want to have to do it twice. I had to do it twice. That was one of the big things. I went ahead and unchecked that box. It doesn't have any negative impact, just takes a little bit longer. Obviously run that. And I ran it on normal mode. Some of you, if you want to take the extra time, you can do it on stealth mode. It's a little bit easier. If you're in a hurry and you've got a lot of confidence in your characters, you can go ahead and try Hunter. I did not do that. But those are the settings that I used. In addition, I also made sure that I had space in my main pack, made sure that this was empty, and then also had where is it? In my ship, I made sure that I had this maxed out because then I could go ahead and transfer over equipment and materials and the tokens every 10 levels in the mission. And then I could go ahead and sell the equipment, or I could go ahead and craft with the materials and so forth. So at least let me keep doing something during that 16 to 20 hours that I was going ahead and running that mission. It's a long one. It's a painful one. It's a challenging one for new players, but it's definitely feasible for everyone out there if you put a little bit of thought into it. And I'm hoping the tips that I just provided help with that one. Go ahead in the comments down below. I think this video is running a little bit longer than I wanted to. In the comments down below, go ahead and ask any questions, any requests out there. Are you struggling with any areas of the game that you need help with that you would like me to focus on maybe the next week or the following week? Again, I am not a pro by any means. I am not an expert by any means on the game. I'm learning as we go, just like you're learning as we go. We're only second season into it. So we'll learn together. I'm happy to be the guinea pig that shows you how to make the mistakes so you can learn from it and don't have to go through that painful process. But that's my progress right now. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.